So hi, we
Hey, Dmitry.
hi Mitch. Yeah, my name is Dmitry and Mitch is with me, and we are both trainers on the forthcoming IIT in Slovenia in end of April and beginning of May this year. And yeah, we're basically trying to do a Facebook Live, but it didn't work, so that we ended up in Zoom session, and we're recording that, so we're gonna post it so you can watch it. Okay, just maybe Mitch, would you tell us something about yourself, and then maybe I do something about me and just share stuff.
Sure, yeah. Well, my name is Mitch Miyagawa. I live on the west coast of Canada on a little island called Gabriola Island on the Salish Sea. And I live on 5 acres of land, a couple of hectares. I can show you out my window here. This is my space. This is my house where I live with my family. And yeah, I'm super excited to come to Slovenia for this IIT. Looking forward to traveling again and being with new people and interacting with a new culture. Yeah, I'm excited to be the kind of like the far away trainer coming to this thing. It's all people from Europe except for me. So I'm looking forward to bringing my my Canadian energy to this like it's a long trip. I was just looking at flights and 15 hours. So yeah, it feels like a big adventure, and I love adventures.
Yeah, so we are actually meeting one local guy closest to the area and one guy far apart from it. So
right, yeah, the closest and the farthest, exactly.
Yeah, maybe just a couple of words about me. My name is Dmitry. I'm also one of the trainers, and I actually come from Slovenia. It's a bit different area than Kranjska Gora, than when the event will happen. But yeah, what we found out with Mitch during the preparations of the event is that we share passion about movement and embodiment, and kind of involving that into the NVC world, the world of nonviolent communication. So we are quite passionate about it, right?
Totally, yeah. I dance and movement is a big part of my life. Taking care of my body and being in my body is both like a health thing for me, but it's also where I do a lot of my self-discovery. I discover new things about myself through movement all the time. And I think about how actually I got into NVC was at a time in my life where, for a lot of my life, I felt like I was kind of disconnected from my body. It was just this sort of head and bunch of thoughts. And I really, through NVC, realized the link between my body and my emotions. That emotions aren't just abstract things. They're experiences, they're sensations that I'm having in my body. And that was a real revelation for me to be able to like, oh wow, that's what I'm feeling that there, and that's that's where my anger lives, and this is what my sadness feels like. So it's such a big part. For me, NVC is a practice of becoming more whole, of accepting and working with your whole being, your entire being, not just the words that we speak in the nonviolent communication, but being able to tune into yourself in all sorts of ways, especially in an embodied way. So yeah, it's been a huge part of my own growth through NVC. How about you? How did you get into this?
Yeah, well, actually, I meet two things at once that changed my life. So it's kind of quite soon after meeting NVC. I was in a similar training that we are offering now in Kranjska Gora, but it was in southern France. And it actually, one of my colleagues and trainers there offered a contact improvisation session. So it's kind of being in an empathic environment, being accepted and kind of connected with a lot of people, and then try to experience being in dance and in physical contact with other people. So for me, it was, I meant it was an addiction for a while. So it's kind of, I really, when I entered to my body and kind of finding that beautiful feelings and needs in myself through my body and trying to use it as a tool of communication to others, not just using words and blah, blah, and stuff like that, just really being conscious of how to express myself and how to relate to others and to connect through my body. It was, I don't know, it blown my whole like world before in a way. And yeah, and since then I'm really like to explore that, kind of enjoy having a body, being present in body, and kind of trying to make a constant connection with myself through my body and with others. So I find out that I'm a very kinesthetic person, and I really enjoy being in physical touch with person. And yeah, I imagine that we can all kind of find in a safe place, in a safe environment, connecting to ourselves and to others through body. It's something that I'm still like joyfully exploring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for you, it was, you kind of discovered these two things at the same time, the contact, both the kind of contact that NVC gives you, kind of empathic contact with the body the touch and the body contact. Yeah, how powerful. I guess there was something similar for me. I got into NVC at a time in my life when I had a lot of relationship upheaval going on, and I had also been getting really into dance, mostly through festivals, and dancing to dance music and electronic music. Um, but I did, I think I started to explore a lot of facilitated dance and ecstatic dance and 5 rhythms. And I've done a little bit of contact improv as well, but I've never taken any workshops on it. So I'm really looking forward to learning from you and doing some stuff with that too. Yeah, I love that you're bringing in touch, in all the NVC experiences I've had, particularly the longer retreats. It's something that we end up talking about and negotiating with each other around touch, because it is such a way that we communicate and a way we connect. And yet, I know where I come from, touch is a real sensitive topic. It's touchy, as they say, right? It's a touchy topic, and it brings up a lot around our body integrity and consent and sexuality sometimes. So gender, all sorts of stuff comes into it. It's such a rich area to explore. And I actually really love the ways that I've experienced negotiating touch and contact and movement within NVC circles. I think we have so one of the most powerful things about NVC is we have this really beautiful way of meeting other people in these places and being able to find ways that work for everybody. I mean, that's the big thing about NVC, right? And to really dismantle a lot of the stuff that we carry around being forced to do things and being feeling like we should be like a certain way, or we should do what other people want us to do. So when we can do that in an embodied way and around touch and movement, I think it's incredibly liberating.
Yeah, and you mentioned consensual a couple of times. Mm-hmm. So in our society, this touch is also kind of labeled of being either power over, and it can be abused, but it's such a beauty when you can experience it in a safe environment, and when you can really practice that consensus that you can have. It can bring a lot of stuff. There's like little children, like newborns, they would die without the touch. Mm-hmm. And we just along the way we somehow find, just find something to distance from that. And then the way I sense it is like we are not really connected to ourselves. We are not connected to our bodies. And through touch, we can connect to ourselves and to others. So it's kind of, I'm really enjoying that. And when you mentioned, I also dance like 5 rhythms and stuff. And in particular in contact improvisation, what I find it's kind of, I call it like NVC for the body. It's kind of, there's so much in parallel with what you can experience. I even see it like in a faster way. It's kind of through dance, through movement with other persons, with other landscape. I can explore relationship in a much faster way. It's kind of, I can explore how to enter, how to explore something in that. And also how to look for consensus. It's kind of not crossing someone's border and still being present and giving body weight and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, I'm really excited that we can, I don't know, at least from my point, to show something of what brings beauty in my life to some other people as well.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to do it with you. Yeah, I love what you're saying. Like it is so much easier, or not easier. There's something about movement and touch and dancing that you can bypass your, a lot for me. Not even not bypassing, but you can just let your thought patterns flow in a different way, so you're not getting so caught on them. And that's a lot of what NVC is about for me too. Is how do we work with this sort of constant mind chatter that we have going on all the time, and really get into what's actually real for us right now, instead of made up in our heads. And there's something about dance and music. I think that's a big part of it too, is that dance and music go together, and music is its own language and its own way of experiencing emotion, and it can bring forward so much emotion. Um, just a second, I hear there's been a few scratches. I don't know if you've even heard the squeaky sound, but my dog is actually just wanting to come in. So
No, you can check your dog, and I'm going to share some more stuff about my passion about movement. Yes, it's kind of, I can experience a lot of connection to myself, either being driven by music, or also without the music, or somehow like not the music with a fine rhythm. Or again, on the other hand, yeah, you can like the 5 rhythms. You can use different rhythms to just encourage people to go and to explore different parts of either body or consciousness or stuff like that. So it's kind of, for me, it's, yeah, as much as I love talking, obviously, and as much as I like using NVC as a language, as a spoken language, I also like to use it as a body language, and it is a, yeah, and as a way to be in myself, to be present in a, I would say, more natural, more nurturing way as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I think there's a tendency sometimes with NVC, we can get, we call it nonviolent communication. So we think it is all about formulating what we're saying or how we're hearing, and that's such a big part of it. Like that is, and those are body parts of our own, right, that we're using. But when I find it loses. We can sometimes get stuck in NVC, being
Yeah.
a kind of pattern or a right way of saying things, when we lose that connection to our inner, our inner space, that it is an embodied material space. And I was just thinking about how we're doing this on Zoom, and how much we've all been so disembodied lately. I've been trying to, like, I'm standing up right now in my space so that I can move around a bit. And I've done some Zoom dancing, and it's just not quite the same. So I'm really looking forward to being in space with a bunch of other people. I think it's going to be quite overwhelming in some ways for me, to be that. I've done quite a bit of dancing with bigger groups, but it's all been outside. Um, and I do think that's another element of embodiment and movement, and this transformative consciousness work that we're doing, is that it also connects me more to my space. We think about space and how space affects how we relate to each other, and how nature comes into it as well. So when we bring in body work into NVC work, it just really fills it out and makes it a lot richer. And it's fun too. It's a way of moving. Like I know I've been in NVC retreats where you're just doing a lot of like sitting together, and a lot of like really deep emotional work, and it's wonderful. But your body pays the price for that, I think. And if we don't move that energy somehow and work it out, it can be exhausting. It can be like so draining. So I think it's really important that we incorporate a lot of movement, and taking care of our bodies, resting, eating well, moving, um, even just sort of ways of like self-soothing or having touch with others. It deepens the whole experience.
Yeah, I can relate to that one as well. And yeah, but we didn't mention, but we also share passion for nature and being outside and big stuff outside. So yeah, I'm quite excited that we are doing this retreat, this IIT in Krajinska Gora, but this is really like a nice Alp village with a lot of nature around it. So you have water, you have lakes, you have creeks, and a lot of rocks and mountains, and it's kind of fresh air and a lot of forests. So now I hope that the weather supports us, like Frank ordered that it's going to be sunny the whole time.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
it would really support doing a lot of activities outdoor. So, and even if not, all the activities can be some can be out, some can be in. And what I enjoy also, it's like, yeah, that we do some sessions that we talk, and as much as I love having deep sessions with people, getting in touch with some deep emotions, some traumas, and everything, and I also enjoy fun. So it can be a lot of transformative power in having fun as well. In a context, yeah, it just
totally. Yeah, I've seen the pictures of where we're going, and it's like, oh my God, it's gonna be so beautiful. I mean, it is. We're going on retreat with each other. It is a training, but we really want to be in this space, this different space with each other, and having a lot of beauty around, and fresh air, as you said, and connection to nature. I think we're just going to really support everybody coming to find what they're looking for. I think. I was just thinking too, I don't have them with me, but one of the things I'm really excited to bring is, and we've talked about this, is I have these headsets. In North America, we call them silent disco. I don't know if they're called something different in Europe, but they're all linked to a radio transmitter, and everybody gets their own individual headsets. So they can control the volume. And I've found this technology magic, not just because it's a way to dance in a distanced way, but it just does something. It allows you to have a real inner experience, but still be with a group. So I'm bringing a set of 20 of them. I might bring more if I can, but I definitely will want to do some sessions with these headsets, because I think that combining these headsets is something I've never tried before. I'm really looking forward to trying, is combining these headsets with some deep listening and really exploring our own authentic expression could be really powerful.
Yeah, so I guess we will offer quite some sessions about that. It's kind of, for me, it's also like exploring empathy without words. It's just like being present, and also exploring how non-empathy can do. And I guess we all witness sometimes that like people speak something with the words, and like the body just does not support that. And like people saying something, and you just, oh, this is something I'm not getting in. And just like people not supporting it by the body movement. And I'm hoping that we are going to explore that in some of my sessions as well. So it's kind of how can we relate to our bodies, and how can we be honest with words and with our bodies. So it's not like just speaking and how to use a form. You know, it's like people say NVC sounds like a robot sometimes, you know, just like, oh, you use the form and you speak like these 4 steps and stuff like that. And it's kind of, if you're really into your body, it's kind of, if you're really present and it's kind of really into that intention that you're trying to bring out, it's kind of, it sounds totally different, even if you don't go strictly by the form. And you definitely don't sound like a robot. It's kind of, yeah, it becomes more natural language as it's supposed to be. So it's kind of supporting that way in being in the body. It's, yeah, it's beautiful for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really getting excited. Maybe we have a whole thread throughout the IIT that's about the body. I would love to do a whole IIT about that. You know?
Yeah.
I remember my mentor in NVC, her name was Penny Wassman, and she's retired now, but she always talked about the simplicity of NVC and how much it really is just about connecting to your heart and the physical heart, you know. And to me, that is about connecting to the body. Like, and for me, it's not just the heart; it's the heart and the gut. You know, it's all got to be together. But that direction has always stuck with me. It's not just a mind thing that we're doing. It really is about that heart connection, that connection in, you know, really paying attention to all our energy centers and where does our energy live in our body, and how do we bring that in alignment with what we're saying. I think it really demands everybody to have, if you really want to practice NVC, to have some form of body practice, whether that's just a meditative practice, or it's movement, or it's going for walks, or something, or even you know, a lot of people that I know use focusing work or somatic experiencing as another way to to enhance the kinds of offer that NVC has. So yeah, I'm really excited to do that. And I also just been thinking about how even just learning to dance with somebody else, just copying their movements, trying to jive with their movements is a kind of empathy, and a powerful kind of empathy that we can use not just in dance situations, but when we're conversing with each other, and how much shifting your body one way or another, or shifting how you're sitting, can also shift your inner state. So I love to play with that in sessions as well.
Yeah, no, and sometimes it can be like we are speaking about that because we are kind of used to being in our bodies and stuff like that. But I know that it can be intimidating as well, just trying to use their body, kind of being open and vulnerable in front of people, like just by your movement, and try to we are all afraid of being judged, stuff like that. And yeah, what I know, it's like in environment like IITs or these retreats that people really have a lot of empathy and hopefully as less as possible of judgments. It can be much more easy to explore your kind of embodiment and having great somatic experience. So I really hope that, that will be possibilities of exploring either a spoken language or a body movement and embodiment, and like you said, like having a different somatic experiences. So yeah, I would like to invite people, if you agree with me, to join us on that 9-day journey, and to explore more of that, what we are passionate about. So how do you think?
Yeah, I loved what you said. It can be intimidating, and for a lot of people that don't dance or feel some fear around judgment of dance, I think, or movement in general, and moving in front of people, we're going to really create a safe and inclusive and warm space where that everybody will feel comfortable, whatever your movement is, even if it's like moving your finger back and forth, that there will be that kind of space for you to explore. So yes, I join you in your invitation.
Okay, so people, if you're watching this, you're most welcome to join us, and you can also post questions and we can try to answer. So for now, Mitch, I would like to thank you and see you soon in Slovenia.
Yeah, great to talk to you, Dmitry. See you soon. Bye, everybody.